Hey, and welcome to my tutorial, cooking with music and audio and all kinds of stuff. And today we're gonna cook a lovely little meal for the ears. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a little appetizer. And this song, basically, I just wrote it in a day, and I wanted to show you how you can write a song with just basic instrument plugins or basic instruments that come with your Ableton Live, and some free plugins that you can download for free and install, and it's just beautiful. So what we start off with is like a little atmospheric sound, in this case, just creating a little bit of a landscape kind of thing. I wanted to have like an international feel there, so I added some guitars and what else is coming up? Vocals, some choirs there, and some homemade sound effects. And I will show you how to do that. From that, we're gonna start creating a little beat, kind of bass beat thingy. Feel a bit atmospheric, and then we start building up. And I'll show you how to do all of this with your basic Ableton Live, because in the end I want to, of course, give it a little bit more so you get something like... Sorry, it's glitching a bit because there's quite a lot of layers here. Once we got this basic going, and like I said, all just without massive plugins, without difficult stuff. It looks like a lot, but I'll explain why and how. And I did this in a day, so it looks like a lot of layers, and you can make this easier, but you've got to be quick and dirty to create the song, to get the feeling of what you really want to do. And after that, we're going to have a little break. Actually, I want to go to this little break, because what I like to do is from that massive sound, from all this percussion and all that, to just go to back to that main theme that we wrote in the beginning. So, and of course after that, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. You know what's going to happen. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen now. First, well, you know what's going to happen. We pull out all the plugs and yeah, well, let's see. Let's just go through. What I did is I took some sections and I split them all up, as you can see. And before I start working, in this case, I had an idea on the piano. I had a little melody in my head. And these are the basics of the melody. So let's start with number one, which is just, let's solo it out. It's just the piano doing... Well, that's easy. You can use the basic piano from your instrument rack. You got the simple, what is it, the tiny piano, simple piano. Well, let me see, piano. Piano. I can't remember where it is, but just have a look at it. Here is it. You could, no. You can use this one, but as you can hear, if you use this one, it's now, when you preview it, it's on 127 velocity. And what I do, just for a start, so I always write with piano. I always just start with piano, because it just creates a simple and clear melody, whatever you're going to do, whether it's going to be synthesizers or orchestras, and we're going to do all that. But I always just start with piano, whether I play it on the piano, or you can play it, of course, on a MIDI keyboard or anything. But in this case, well, this was too easy. And I just had these two instruments in my head. Let's just solo them out. So the second one is a marimba. Make sure you always at least give it a little bit of a name so you know what you're listening to. And this is basically the main thing that I was having in my head. But the thing is, it's offbeat, as you can see. If you zoom in, it's offbeat. So that's quite complex writing. It's really annoying writing. So the first thing I did is I laid down a simple kick for a metronome, because the metronome, if you use the metronome, of course you can, but it's just an annoying click. And when you use a simple 808, that's the one I always use. So what I did in this case, I put a little marimba in there as well, maracas, just so you have that offbeat feeling. Here we go. We got a little bit of a groove now. So just to show you what I do with that 808, I don't want to. So the 808 normally has quite a heavy low and a heavy attack. So what I do is, as you can see, it's just the 808 that you got. Everyone's got in their drum rack, just a drum 808. And I just, in this case, I just use the kick and the maracas. So what I did with that, of course, you can do a lot here, but what is easy, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give it a little bit of an oomph. So I put a boomer in there, which is basically, yeah, let me show you the difference. So this is the kick normally, which is good, but I wanted to give it a little bit more oomph, so a little bit more attack in there. But then again, I put an auto filter on there. It's one of the best filters you can use in Ableton. It's one of the easiest filters to work with. Of course, you can work with the EQ3 here, because I just wanted to take the top off. But what you can do later with this one, you can, and I'm not going to do that now because it will mess up my automation, but what you can do is you can just use your frequency just to filter this off and make it dynamic where you want to. And that's more difficult to do, because when you do that with an EQ3, where is it? Audio effects. Normally I would use like an EQ3 here. Since this frequency goes over all of the three, see, you can see it going on all of the three. So the moment when you want to animate, I wanted to say, if you want to adjust this over time, then you have to do all three of them, or you have to create macros. So in that case, let's get rid of that one. The auto filter is way easier to do. So that's your basics, basically. And what I do, so what I wanted to show you, the reason why I make this video is so that you can see how you can just build and create with basic, simple tools. And you don't need much to do those things. Now, when you got that, there's two more layers here that I put in just for my basic sketch. I'll solo them out. And again, what you see, I gave them names right away. And you will need that later. Of course, you can have the name of what kind of instrument it is, as in the 808 here, but because I know exactly the 808, and there's only one of them. But this is more important. So I gave them a name, main short, which I know are the main line, the main melody, the lead piano. And the short, it stands for Short Bows, which is just a simple plugin for free. You can download that. It's an orchestral plugin, and it's absolutely brilliant, and I can advise that for everyone, whether you're making rock music, whether you're making jazz music, dance music, all kinds of stuff. This little kit is the best toolbox you can have as a music producer. The reason why I gave it a left and a right is because I made it left and right. But first, listen to it. This is what it sounds like. And as you can hear, it just follows. It basically follows this, the main line. So what we got now, if I just... Now, the reason why I made it left and right is because I wanted to have, so I've got the piano in center, dead center, basically. And that is, like I said, the simple piano. I'll dig deeper in that later. So what I did to make this stereo sound from it, so I used the utility on top of my strings, and I'll go back into the strings later. In the next chapter, I will go through all the different sounds that I created or used, and all the VSTs that I used. They're all for free, once again. But, so let's go through this quickly. If I take one, and let's say I put this at just dead center, right? And this is how it comes out of the box. And what you can hear, if you've got your headphones on, is that on the left-hand side, my left and right are the wrong way around. Oh, on one side, oh, that's my headphones the wrong way around. Wait a second. Yeah, so on the left hand side you got the highs, and on the right hand side you got the lowest strings, which is a nice stereo mix by itself, but I don't want that because that will mess up my mix in the end. So what I did is I put the utility, which is again just a standard go-to in your audio effects, just utility, drag it in, and what I did is if you make your width 0%, it combines that left and right together. You can choose to either only left or only right, or taking the left channel or the right channel, or swap them even. But what I do, I take both channels left and right and I put the width to 0. I did that on duplicate that same track, so I've got 2 of them doing that. Now I take that left channel, put it all the way to the left, then I duplicate that one, right? So you've got the same width 0, blah, 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 and I'll put that all the way on the right. Then if you click your D, I always call the D for delay, I think that is, and so what you can do here is, the moment when I put this on 0, it becomes mono again, because you've got left and right at the same time. But I put a 10 millisecond delay in here, and then you get the stereo sound. You can go as far as you want, but now you get too much delay, right? So it gets out of the rhythm. So 10 will be enough. A lot of the time, depending on the instrument you're using, the more you put in, the broader it gets. And that's depending on your mix, and you'll see that later, because we're going to have other instruments on the left and right, far left and right. So this is like basically, yeah, on the side of your eyeballs, but not on the side of your ears, if you know what I mean. So what we got now is that little mix. Well, that's a good start, that's a good start. Added a little extra, a little harpy in there, and this is the good thing about this track, and I will dive deeper into the composition later as well, but first just let's go through the basic building blocks. So what we've got here is a little harp, just going on repeat, like someone is at the door. So combined, you get a nice little, I've got a little reverb on there, but that comes with the instrument. You can hear how these start working together. Quite nice. Then I wanted to have a little extra melody in here, so a pizzicato, or how you call it, I call it a pizza. And that goes like this, basically. I'll keep the beat on. Now, lovely, on a violin, or cello maybe even, I don't know. But we'll check that later. And as you can see, I did the same trick. I've got my utility on there, and I've got it a little bit to the center, and because this sample was quite stereo for me. But as you can hear, it has a lot of attack, and there's not a lot of actually notes in there. You can't really hear what you're hearing. So what I did, I put a short bow in again. Again, same trick, left, and you'll see right with a 10 delay, left, right. So what you get if you take these two, play exactly the same as the top one, the pizzicatos, and they go. So at least we can hear the note as well, and the attack coming from the pizza. So right, that's working. So if you combine what we got now, and I will do that constantly, I think that's quite nice. So we can go up to the next chapter after this one. So, there we go. Well, that starts to form a little bit, right? Now, to get the right feel, so in the end result, I took out this higher, the maracas, I took them out because I didn't need them. And I'll show you why. I got this little beat sample, and I can't remember where I got it from. I just ripped it from some album, chopped it up, and got it in the right tempo here. But it has the right groove now by chopping it up, and well, you know how to do that. That's quite easy. You take your kicks and your hi-hats, and you chop them all up, and then you export them as one sample, and you can work with that again. So if you add that one just easily, again, I've got an auto filter on there, so just to take the edge of the top here, so it has a little bit more of a warm warm cookie jar kind of feeling. And again, I can animate this, and that is just beautiful. So let's just go through it quickly. Well, this is what you get then with a little beat. Well, in this case, the volume is a little bit too loud. So, and what you can do, like I said, if you work with this frequency, see how easy is with one vector. This for your intro and when you go out. And to animate that, most probably you know, one of the easiest tricks is when you click your drawing tool and you click the thing you want to, it automatically changes lanes here. You see that? Well, it's off now, but you can. That's the easy way to draw in on your timeline. Well, let's keep that. Now, I wanted to have another simple instrument, just to make it a little bit more spacey. So I've got myself an appreciator. I call them appreciators, but they're called arpeggiator. Well, you've got to give your own name, right? And that is quite an easy one as well. It's two different ones. Whoa, wow, we don't need that. It's quite easy, simple melody pattern. Now, don't get confused. You see a lot of stuff going on here, and I'll explain what is going on here. Here's one. So basically, I got two different samples. As you can see, it used two different VSTs. So this is the Prophet. But of course, you can use any other sinus-based synthesizer. This is just a simple one, simple old synth. Like I said, you can use all kinds of synthesizers to create this simple. This is a simple sinus, and it's all about the effects that you use in the end. And this is, in this case, it's coming from a FM8. But again, you can use all kinds of different ones, free samples even from the standard pack. What I did, of course, you got your chords. How did I do that? Well, that's especially when you work with appreciator. It's quite important if you want to have longer. It does that on the amount of notes that you have. So, just for an example, let me copy this here just quickly. If I let this go for just a tiny bit, what you'll see. Now, and if I take one off, it can't do the whole so it does. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Also a trick you can use, of course. It's quite nice, isn't it? So you can build up your scores as well like that. Well, I think you can figure out how to do that. That's quite easy, I think. Anyway, so that's how I set that one up. And what I did, of course, so let's go through. So you got the ARP. Of course, you know how this works. That's quite easy. Play around with it, with what kind of gates and grooves and all kinds of stuff you can make with that. In this case, I put a EQ3 behind the sample, just to take the low out, because there's going to be a lot of bass in there. You want to keep it light. This whole sample is made for just a little sprinkle on top, right? Go with a little reverb. Well, there's quite a lot of reverb, but this is the really white reverb. Then I put a little. So if you just listen to it like this, this is basically what I got out. So you can see this is just a simple sinus with the appreciator. in front of it. You put that in front of the sample always, because it creates the notes that go in here. Well, I took out the low, otherwise it will be, you can hear low, doo, doo. Didn't want that. Well, here's my first. Gives a bit of a roomy effect. Then I want to have a stereo kind of stereo delay, so it goes left, right, it sprinkles a little bit more. And I wanted another reverb, just more in the center. The order of those things is quite important, but just play around with it until you got the right taste. And I did basically the same, exactly the same on this one. So that's what we get then. Let's see, next steps here are the same. I'm not going to go into that. Well, what we're going to do here now is we're going to add some low basses. Basses for this track are quite easy. I've got 4 of them here, and there's a reason for that. So in the beginning of the song, I just start off with, and this is basically a bass, classical bass, stand-up classical bass. And I use that a lot because it just has quite a nice, simple sound, basically. And I topped that up with a more digital bass, and that digital bass, I even gave it a ping pong delay. I use that a lot and a lot and a lot. And as you can see, I did the same. This bass, the second bass, if I just take the sample itself, and it goes left and right and all that. So it's really hard to mix if everything goes left and right constantly. So I'll put that utility on there again, soloed it out to a mono sound, basically. So it stays in the middle, and now I can work with it and put a ping pong delay on there, and then you get. Combine these basses. Oh no, they've got. Oh, that's the 2 basses. Sorry, this is the 2 basses. And for the groove, I added another bass. 2 basses again. 1 synthesizer. Not even using the effects here, of course, because I want to keep these dry. Keep them dry. Simple basses, whatever bass you use. I kept these a little bit higher. Of course, what you normally do is, if this were your main bass, you would go to. I keep it high because these are low already, and we don't need much more. So the total of basses then is. Let's add some of these lead thingies that we had before. And now what I really like here is the atmosphere we get. And yes, you remember what we did in the beginning. I created that landscape kind of thing, remember? Where is it? All the way in the beginning. I created this. And I like that spaciousness of it. And I wanted to keep that in this track. And so what I did is, let me find back. Where were we, guys? Where were we? Oh, this is where we were. So I created 2 what I call atmos, which are basically just atmospheric samples. There is actually quite a good library in the ambient and evolving. In the standard Live, Ableton Live, you got the ambient and evolving, and they are quite cool to work with. And look at that, and you can use that in so many ways. These are simple, but see, and you use all your simple plugins and tools to make that beautiful. In this case, I've got 2 Atmos sounds going. One a bit glassy, just to And I wanted stuff that went up, if you know what I mean. That just creates a little bit of a slow pulse in there. That creates that atmosphere. While against this, for instance, of course you can cut them down here if you want to, but I wanted to keep that swell in there. The other one I got is a little bit more tacky with a little crisp on the top. So these two together, and this, yeah, again I put a ping pong delay on there for my stereo fall off at the end, so it really feels like, yeah, dust falling or sprinkling, and together they create a beautiful, you can hear already, this could be, you could just solo this for an intro, right? This could be a beautiful intro before you start. Now, so this is what we got now, and as always, with every little chapter, I will play for you what we got now. Here we go. Let's take all the instruments together. Well, let me just put these here so we've got them all in one. Normally I won't do that. I always keep my layers good, although the colors, I work with the colors, but as long as you keep all your basses just next to each other. Here's all my pianos. In the top here is all my drums. We're going to add a lot of drums later on. Well, this is what we got now. Let me just give it a little start. So let's see what we got. Well, there you go. There you got your basics of a simple track that works. But what I wanted to do, what I always do, is what I said before. If you look at the build-up, so this is just what we just went through now. But if you look at the build-up of my song, little tip, like my whole intro, this is my whole intro, that whole spherical, ambient kind of world music kind of thing. Once I got that, I don't need any of this. Well, I use some samples of it later, and I will show you that later, of course. But you just group them all together in the intro. Keep your workflow simple. Close the group. You don't need that. When you want them, you can go in. But keep your screen. As you can see, I work on a tiny little laptop here. It's my travel laptop, 13-inch. But I've got everything I need. And of course, you can clean all of this up if you want. But I hadn't have time for that because I made the song in one day. But, so what you see is once you got to this stage where you have all these layers and you got your basics, what you can start doing is basically just create a staircase with these instruments. And you can see me doing that. Like, okay, I start off with this one, then this one comes in, then this one comes in, then it adds that one, then it adds this one, and then the next bit, this one comes in. So basically, that's the same you can do once you got this, and it's just a really easy way of working. And a lot of people work like this from their sample editor, so from here. But I don't really like that but that's me personally, because I normally, and in this case as well, as you can see here, the bass line has and the melody consists of two parts. And so they're a bit longer. And what I like to do a lot is take a melody all the way from here to, let's say, there. And if you only work with just snippets, it becomes quite monotonous. Is that a word? But so what you can do once you've got this set up, so let me just mute this. Of course, you can, what was the two? Yeah, I said those Atmos were quite nice to start with. So let's do half of it, just for the sake of it. Up. Yeah, so let's just do it like that. And the basses come in later. Beat definitely comes in later. Oh, we're going to automate that beat a little bit. Where's my delete automation? There you go. Oh, that's my volume, sorry. We're going to do this one, like I said, we're going to get that beat in, right? We're going to automate that. So you click on that, you click on the automation tool. The moment when you click on frequency, like I said, or resolution, resonance in this case, sorry, it changes the line automatically. And in this case, we want to go to the full beat, but we want to start off with a little bit of a cutoff. Now, just soloed it. You will hear it coming in. So what we did now is simply from this batch, and we just took 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and you can do that, of course, throughout the whole game. Take all of, well, you know how this works, right? So what we got now is simple. Ooh, lovely little intro. Isn't that lovely? Ooh. Ooh. Don't need this one yet. There you go. That we created in, what is it, 10 minutes? 30 minutes. We created a lovely first setup. Well, please hit the like and subscribe if you want to see the rest of this video and how I created this intro, how I used the different VSTs, how I built my build up for a simple song like this, which looks quite complex, but we're gonna go into a beautiful thing later on, because what I wanted to do is I didn't just want to make it like a disco or drum dance track with the boom chicka boom chicka boom. This is nice, but I'm a musician after all, so what I wanted to add was, let me solo this out for now, is I wanted to give it a little bit more of an oomph. Well, so there you go. And to make that, if we combine that, and I'll show you in that next video how I created that. No, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like... glitching a bit, but of course I'm recording this as well, and well, hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Good luck. Cheers.